Chapter 9, 1993 to 1997. Mom has a paper route, and I help her fold Sunday papers to earn money. She pays me $5 every Sunday. During the summer, I go extra days, and she gives me $1 a day for helping her. I save this money so I can buy tapes for a tape player I was given at Christmas. My favorite singer in the whole world is Mariah Carey, and right behind her is Whitney Houston. Currently, they are the two most popular ladies on the radio. My radio will record to a blank tape, but this is only what I do when I don't yet have the money to buy the tape I want. I like buying tapes when I have earned enough money, then I don't have to hear the stupid DJs talking over the songs. I average about one tape every other week, unless I work extra in a week for money. I love music. I find myself alone in my room a lot. When I am not in my room singing along at the top of my lungs to my favorite music, I'm reading a book. Some of my favorite authors are John Grisham and Robert Ludlum. Many days when I arrive home from school, I throw my backpack down in the living room and plop down on the corner couch in front of the television. Our furniture is mismatched, and my brother always takes the ugly mint green recliner, and I take the old brown corner chair. We have a routine. Mom asks, "Do you have homework?" I reply, "Not very much," or "It's already done." Once I've endured her probing and nabbing, she tells me to do the dishes. Homework and chores, two things I definitely do not like doing. Fine, I'll do them later. We turn on Channel 6 so we can watch Carmen Sandiego. When that is over, we watch Knight Rider. When that is over, we eat dinner. Dad works at the local copper mine and has been working there for almost as long as I can remember. He works wonky hours and rarely is home for dinner. His shift tends to change regularly, and he generally accepts overtime when it is offered. When Dad is home before dinner time, he is doing yard work or sleeping after an overnight shift. Mom makes dinner, and we sit down at the breakfast bar in front of the kitchen to eat. We have a table, but it is only used on special occasions. After dinner, the endless nagging about dishes commences. I loathe washing dishes. I get up to wash them and then always find a way to procrastinate. It is at this time I begin to do my homework, or should I say, I pretend to. Then I must shower and go to bed. I manage to avoid completely washing the dishes more often than not. When the weekend arrives, the activities depend upon what I am involved in. During the fall, I'm enrolled in soccer, and this successfully gets me out of church every Saturday during the soccer season. I also have practice during the week. Practice does not keep me from being nagged by my mother to do chores, however. Soccer is fun, but I am pretty sure that I am not that great at it. My soccer coach is Penny. She has a short haircut for a woman and always wears oversized glasses. She is thin and she has a deep voice for a woman, but I think maybe it's because she smokes a lot. She has a son who's my age, and he's super cute. He is one of the cutest boys in school. All the girls talk about how cute he is. I don't give my opinion because I'm afraid someone will tell him that I have a crush on him or something. Nathan, who is the above said cutest boy in school, is on the soccer team. Even cooler than that is sometimes his mom takes me home from soccer practice. One time while we were doing a scrimmage practice, I kicked the ball so hard, I fall backward on the ground. I sit up wobbly and dizzy and embarrassed and start getting back up, and here comes Nathan. He offers a hand to help me up. I get up. On the way home, I tell myself I will never wash that hand again. I am so nervous when he's around. I tell my mom about my crush, and she teases me about it enough that I won't tell anyone else about it. Besides, it is not like he would ever be interested in a girl like me. I am not pretty, and I know I could never fall into that category ever, not in my lifetime. Junior high school is awkward and unremarkable and passes quickly. The first 2 years of high school, I'm a nobody, unnoticed by most, because I avoid attracting unnecessary, unwanted attention. And I end up enmeshed with two little circles of friends, stoner friends and miscellaneous friends. I don't smoke pot like the stoners, but I dress in baggy clothing a lot like them. And they are somewhat misfits like myself. My stoner friends let me hang with them, even though I really am not interested in smoking pot. I don't get what the point is. I smoked it once, and not only did I cough way too much, it made me hungry and tired. The last thing I need to do is be lazy and fat. Pot has such a distinctive smell, and it is hard to cover that smell. I would rather smoke cigarettes. Before beginning my sophomore year, we pick electives. I sign up for choir class. I find a few meaningful friends here. Music has always been my escape. I try to show I am not completely unworthy of anything by standing out in choir class. I am picked to sing a solo for a concert we will be putting on. The concert typically only attracts our families, but landing a solo makes me extremely proud. It's like I finally belong, and I'm truly happy. Things seem to be changing for me. Indeed, choir is where my life in school starts looking up. One day we are preparing for an upcoming performance, and while waiting for the choir director to work with our group, we have some time to goof off and just relax. I am talking to another girl in class, and she asked me if I like Mr. Male Cheerleader, Lee, over there. Yes, he was a male cheerleader, and I responded with no, but her question caught me completely off guard. Honestly, it felt as though it was a completely random question because I really never paid all that much attention to this guy before. For some reason, when she asked, this really sparked my curiosity toward Lee, and I start really paying attention. He's built like he should be playing football, not cheerleading. Tall and husky. He is Mexican American with brown skin and black hair that he keeps in a short buzz cut. He definitely isn't the hottest guy in school, but he's somewhat popular amongst all the different cliques. Friendly in a way that others liked him, comfortable with everyone. From that day forward, I make it a point to find a way to chat him up. Lee has a huge personality, and one day we get to flirting and talking, and I surprise even myself when I work up enough courage to ask him out. Yes, I repeat, my unconfident self worked up the nerve and asked him out. Instantly, I feel weak-kneed and almost faint-like. I've taken a gamble that could cost me dearly. I had spent all these years being subtly rejected, and now I have somehow decided to open myself up to face outright rejection. Of course, the odds, as usual, are not in my favor. It took a lot for me to work past the anxiety and the fear about what he would think, and my worst fear is validated and confirmed. Rejected. Not that I'm surprised or anything. I should have known better. Lucky for me, it isn't nearly as bad as it sounds. Much to my relief, when he approaches me face to face, he gives me a simple, "No, I'm not interested in going out with you, but thanks for asking," in a polite yet uninterested tone. I surrender to the thought that I am just some loser who will be alone in high school, and this surely means I'm going to be alone forever. I think to myself, meh, just accept it. I do not want to make eye contact with or see him after this, even though he let me down with such kind demeanor. I am somewhat relieved when I discover that he has been suspended from school for fighting. I don't see him again until the fundraiser for choir a few weeks later. The choir class got together at a local grocery store for the fundraiser. We held a bake sale, and he was there. I am certain to this day that Lee really didn't care about raising money for the choir, considering the first chance he got, he invited me to go smoke weed in his car. I carefully considered this invite since I rarely ever smoked weed, and it had never even crossed my mind to make it a regular thing. But this is Lee asking me to sit in his car with him, so I can hardly believe it. Of course I accept his invitation. He navigated his old seafoam green Nissan 240SX around behind the grocery store. He rolled up the windows and sparked up. When it was my turn, I inhaled deeply, feeling the burn that trickles down my throat as the smoke finds its path. I coughed and was not all that impressed with this experience again. Of course, I didn't want to let him know that I didn't find this smoking weed thing enjoyable at all. I distracted myself by flirting and laughing in between coughing. After wasting probably 20 minutes or so, we returned to the fundraiser. Not too long after we returned from our little hotbox session, the fundraiser was over. Our little choir group had started packing up to head off, and I was trying to sneak away to call Mom for a ride. Before I could successfully get away, I was surprised when Lee offered to give me a ride home. Now, this was back in the old days, and I actually had to go find a payphone and call Mom, so uncool, to make sure it was okay, of course, lame and uncool, and to my great delight, she allowed me to take him up on that ride. I will never forget that ride home. I still envision it as if it just occurred yesterday. The windows down and Bone Thugs and Harmony blaring. He had that stereo with the bass that boomed so loud you couldn't think. I remember the smug smile on my face because he was giving me a ride home, and Mom allowed it. I didn't even get a phone number from him, but damn if I wasn't happy as the puppy with two tails. I arrive home that day in a joyous mood until Dad says he needs to fix the muffler. And what's with those shocks? I didn't know anything about cars. So I completely missed the noisy muffler that Dad noticed. I surely wouldn't have heard it over the boom boom bass anyway. I didn't know that the shocks were the reason the car bounced like it had hydraulics. Well, except that it didn't have hydraulics. And I was quite aware from that ride, those shocks were in pretty rough shape. On the ride home, we did hit a speed bump, and I got the pleasure of experiencing the car bouncing like a teeter-totter on a playground. But thinking back on what Dad said, he just didn't understand. I didn't give a hoot about the car. It was the owner that mattered, even if my lame ass didn't manage to get his phone number. I didn't see Lee much at school after that. And eventually school let out for summer break.